you have sex in the astral?
Yeah, these astral sex experiences.
This is a show.
Whoa, astral sex.
Expressing like spiritual contracts to it that like open up doors and awareness based on your sexual body expansion, what you have in DNA technology. What is the sexual body? What's it for? Why is it expansive in creational force, kundalini, spinal column, energy, current, emission, and a lot of other functions and activation because of like sacred sex kind of, and sex magic, sigil magic, life extension technology that goes into that, as well as bilocating and experiencing like either or extensions of different energy spectrum bodies like astral dreaming, etheric, all types of elemental bodies, sexual body, and where like some of your experiential bodies are fusing the experiential bodies together and making it like a well-rounded experience that's very HD in the vision, and then a pleasant memory that makes you also look towards the unseen and like, hey, here's a motivation that makes me more spiritual for sure, kind of thing. Because the population is totally like that. Like sex sells. I mean, this is an influenceable thing in our genetics. Like that's so easy, and like there's of course like black and white and gray into like how you do that, because there's also negative like
The
influence.
succubuses and
Yes,
incubuses,
yes.
you gotta watch out for that.
Whoa.
Well, you can have sex in many different ways. There's like a lot of beings. This isn't like original stuff. Like, oh, I wonder if that exists. If it doesn't exist, I'm gonna make it anyway. Kind of thing. And you know, also what that can be combined with, because it's like a sexual body technology. Combine that with other spectrums.
What does it mean if, like, I have let's say I'm having a sex dream, and, like, it's getting to a certain point where, like, I think sex is going to start. And I've had these repetitive dreams where, in the dream, I think sex is going to start, and then I wake up. Like, every freaking, I'm like, oh my god, I can't even have a sex dream.
That's like a carrot and stick. I used to get that too. It was annoying.
I'm wondering if
Clearing
some kind
dreaming
of
body, sexual body, and other things. There's a large to-do list with our species for things occurring on our sexual body. So it's like healing the shadow self of that, and as well as the dreaming body, because like things could wanna like keep, like in any situation, even if it's not sexual, distract us from greater experiences, and asking why. Is there always like a meet up where what's the purpose in this? And if there's like no like reasonable purpose, then it's like, well, this doesn't seem to be serving me. What is initiating this? What's the authority behind this? Is this an incursion? And then like start releasing from incursions, as well as it can be a message too. Like depends in symbology and what's being allowed, what that means, interpretation. You can ask your body. Because we're kind of dreaming a amalgamation of what all our kind of dreaming bodies and parts and pieces are kind of doing in a way that it can be transferred, and it wants to do it in an efficient way so it's remembered, and it's not always easy to remember.
Astral sex.
Okay, so getting back to sex in the astral, can you orgasm? Or is it
Yes, you can
similar-
orgasm from a distance too. You can
Whoa.
make, yeah, you
Doesn't
can
sound
make,
like fun. That
no,
sounds like
you can make
masturbation.
somebody, you
Sounds like
can,
masturbation.
you can make somebody have an orgasm from a distance.
Really?
Yeah, without touching them.
Do they have to consent, or all of a sudden they're
Usually it's
ask
good
for
if they're
supermarket and
consent.
they're like, woohoo!
Usually it's good if they consent. There have been the abilities where they're able to do that. This also goes into hypnosis and other things, because there's like a whole operating system that you can start turning a being on in their different functions of their body, and then it being a result that you see manifest, and they like hot and bothered and all the symptoms, and it depends on how, like if you're doing it for the male or the female and all kinds of other stuff, but Yeah, and there's like things in exchange, like two like physical beings can actually meet up astrally or Dreamtime and engage in that way, as well as they can have like bleed overs if they're even more advanced in their technology, and like they can bilocate, and that bilocation of energy can be made as a technology and clearance to become more physical in light matrix construct that is like a physical experience, and sometimes that can be had in Dreamtime or whatever kind of experiencer you are, because there's a lot.
Okay. That's interesting. Okay, I have another question related to this. So let's say there was someone who you were interested in, okay, and is it possible to like somehow specifically go to that person? Do you have to set some kind of an intention, or like let's say it was a movie star or something, and you, I don't know, I'm just making stuff up. Like I'm wondering how you know where to travel to, like how that whole concept works.
Yeah. So like, again, consent isn't a thing, but if you have interactions with a person's spirit in past lives, you have like interaction with their higher self, and their higher self is aware of you, and it's like, yeah, like somehow I'd like us to somehow meet. And there's a lot of different types of personalities of different people in different shapes and sizes, so you could probably find for all different kinds of stuff. But you're getting kind of mail in your heart that like is, if something wants to engage you that way, there's like a list of like most, and then you can organize the most advantageous beings to start this learning process initiation with, because you kind of gotta, to practice it, you have to have a partner. And there's sometimes you make like you have a lifetime where you're like with a really spiritual person, like I know we're gonna die and stuff, and like, hey, we have plans to meet up again some other place, but also in that time, and like if you're like really advanced sexually with them, where you're going to other realms and you're experiencing things in orgasm that are just expansive, and like you could activate a psychedelic experience with orgasm. So
Whoa!
yeah. So going into that,
You could activate a psychedelic experience with orgasm.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Tell us
going
more.
Yeah, and that like upgrades you spiritually and awareness quite a bit, and then you start like becoming aware, because people like to have sex, and once they learn that, that's fucking amazing. So besides going into that, you know, people need a partner, so they're like, oh, I may not meet you at like directly where I am this lifetime, but you're a really good partner. Hey, could we practice this astrally in a spiritual contract way for next generations, and kind of have like a meetup experience? Not like you're gonna just meet them and bang. Like you may have like a lead up time of like, hey, we're working together in Dreamtime, and like the residual image forms of familiarity, so they're like, it confirms in their mind that they actually like you, and so like if you're going into that state, it's like just naturally, oh, I know who you are, and like, oh, we can do whatever you want, and it's like we both like each other kind of thing. And you have a list of beings for that. They're not all human too, and sometimes there are ones that are negatives that want to do that, so you got to filter that out, and like what is the, because you got to have like spiritual condoms and all kinds of things, and sometimes they are beings that know how to upgrade you spiritually through that. So
With a spiritual condom, or take
well,
that spiritual
like
condom off?
not the the condom is a filter to keep negative shit off, like during an experience, as well as protect the experience so it's not incurred upon and fucked with and made like traumatic or something. And there's interesting rules that are set up for the peak of the best experience for both beings, and or whatever they got. They can do upgrades, as in like the initiation of the creational force as a jumping off point, as well as an exchange, like you're exchanging spiritual commerce when you have sex with somebody.
Okay.
Like you trade abilities, and you do all kinds of stuff depending on what you do for each other, because you can heal each other. There's like sexual healing, all kinds of stuff.
Holy crap, the song was right. When I get this feeling, I need my psychic sexual healing.
Yeah.
Whoa! Astral sex!
That's really fascinating.
Astral sex, yep.
Jesus Christ. Sex is everywhere. Except not in my immediate realm.
In your pants. You said my pants. Except for my
Exactly.
pants.